Hello, and welcome to At All Hours. I'm your host, Greg Ramirez, and this is the Season 2 finale of At All Hours, okay? Now I want to address something, first and foremost. This should have been happening a long time ago. I haven't been putting episodes out, okay? Sue me. All right, will you get off my back? I'll try to be better about it. I've said that literally every single episode before this. Maybe this time it'll be different. Doubt it. But maybe. You know? So, folks, we don't really know what we're doing, right? We're all figuring it out, right? So, one of the things that was kind of happening with these seasons. So the first 10 episodes I did were, I just didn't really think much of it. And then I think it was going to be every 20 episodes was going to be a season, which makes sense to me. It's not just like every 10. But then it was like I did episode 20 and that was the season 1 finale, right? So it could still work. Essentially, episode 1 through 10 was like the pilot, right? It's not the season 1. It's like the pilot series. Because I didn't know if there was going to be a season 2. I started doing At All Hours, and then it just kind of, I just kept doing it. And then when I got to episode 20, it was like, okay, well then that'll be season 1. Because now it's like it's like if you count like a season 1, episode 1 would be 1 or 11, right? Season 1, episode 2 would be 1 2, 1 3, right? That makes sense to me. So then 0 1, 0 2 would be like the pilot. So episode 1 through episode 20 was a season. And I thought, okay, that'd be cool for season 1. Every 20 episodes would be a season. And then through season 2, I stopped doing episodes as frequently. And it's just hard. It's hard to first of all, I mean, a lot of the episodes I do solo. And then sometimes it's just like, I just don't have shit to talk about, which I've talked about already. Like I've literally talked about not having shit to talk about. You see what I'm saying? Anyway. So that's why there's this weird, it's like either season 1 was 20 episodes and then season 2 was only 10 episodes and then I'm going to go back to another number, or season 0, season 1, and season 2 all have 10 episodes. That sounds better to me. You know? Because then it's like, I don't know, the numbering system, it just makes more sense to me. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. The 5 of you that listen, that have my personal cell phone number, that can contact me and be like, I don't like that. And then I'll just kind of disregard what you say. Anyway. So since today is going to be the season 2 finale, we're going into season 3. I have some guests lined up. I have some returning guests that have been little eager beavers to come on back onto the show. Very grateful for that as well. Having good friends that are willing to record with me. Because, I mean, it's one thing to hang out and talk and bullshit, but then when you're like, can I record this? Can this be like permanent? Even though I do go over it with them and I'm like, it could be edited. Anything you say I could edit out or we could chop up, like it's fine. Not everyone's so keen on doing it. I feel like more than most of the time though, people are pretty cool with it. You know, it's pretty rare for someone to be like, nah, I don't want to do it. Usually if I ask them, would you be down to record with me? They're like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. You know, it's not, or they're like, fuck yeah, I'm super down. Which more than most of the time, that's the case. Like people do seem pretty pumped when I ask them to record. I think it's just because conversation's fun, and then you're going into it with the intent of having fun. It's not like it can get serious. It can go to that place. Hold on, I'm going to take my headphones off. Take these motherfuckers off. It can go to that place. It can be a little heavy at times, it just kind of depends on how the conversation strikes. And I think that's kind of the best part about having something like this, because people usually ask, like, what do you talk about? Like, because some people have, like, podcasts that are more like they review movies, or they do books, or conspiracy theories, or video games, or just pop culture or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I just sit and talk to people. And they're like, oh, about what? I'm like, whatever we want to talk about. Which is cool because it opens up a lot of people to just kind of be able to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about, like as the conversation continues. So it's been really cool, and it's been nice being able to do that and have like a pretty eclectic mix of people. And like I said, I want to have some more friends on, maybe some enemies. I don't know. Probably not, though. I guess it's just, I don't think I'm going to hit anyone up and be like, I know you hate me, but would you want to be on my podcast? It's probably not going to go over well. Or they'd probably be like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I hate you, but podcasting's pretty cool. Probably not, though. But anyway, some fun stuff. Some ideas lined up for season 3, potentially. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to say anything, but some ideas, some big ideas that are coming up. And I'm thinking about doing them, kind of see. We'll test the waters. I think season 1, it was the pilot, and then we kind of hit the ground running. Season 2 got a little choppy. Okay? Things were a little chaotic in my own personal life, I will say. Okay? Do you mind? But I'm trying to get back on it. I'm trying to get back on my bullshit. And then season 3, we're back at the pilot. We're running some new tests, trying some new shit out for season 3. Okay? Season 4 and 5, TBD. But we got guests lined up. We have ideas lined up. And I thought a good way to finish off season 2 would be to do an AMA. So I put on my Instagram some like questions up so that you can respond, ask questions, and I'd answer them. Kind of see, what questions would come up. So no questions about at all hours. None. Nothing about like, do you have any guests in mind? Do you have, how does this work? Or like, what is your recording setup? None of that. So since nobody asked that, nobody gets to know that. I'm sorry. Okay, but we're going to go over the questions that everyone did ask. See what the fuck is up. Okay? I'm a man of the people, and I'm going to answer these questions to the best of my ability. Hopefully that rounds out the episode. If not, I have some other bullshit to talk about. But we got a pretty good number of questions. So we'll finish off the season with that. I don't think there was some other stuff I had that I had been wanting to talk about. But again, it's like stuff I could cover really at any time. So there's also some like big stuff I know I'm going to go on a tangent on. So I'm just not going to get into it to start. Okay, but finishing out season 2, thank you to anyone who's listened or who's shown it to anybody or who's just listened to an episode. It's like tough to be the only person motivating myself to do it outside of people like who are like, oh yeah, it's funny, like I listened to it, cool, whatever. But it is really nice when people are like, oh, I listened to your podcast, it's funny as fuck. And it's like, yes, dude, thank God. It's like even when people listen to my music, they're like, oh, I listened to your album, dude. it's pretty fucking sick, or it's like super all right. Then I'm like, that's the best. That's the most I could ask for, is for someone. If someone is like, I listened to your album, pretty good. That's the biggest compliment, because there's a lot of music out there. And if like I came up and I was like, people are like there's some people who tell me like, I listen to your music often. Like you're in my like playlist. Like you're in, like you're kind of, you come up often enough, That's fucking the biggest compliment. Like where it's like I'm worthy enough to be like listened to over and over, the same way I listen to music over and over, like some of my favorite songs, And it's really like pretty indescribable to put into words that feeling of like creating something and it being something that like someone comes to you and is like, I really enjoyed, like I love this thing that you made. Crazy. It's like cooking, when you cook something for someone, they're like, that was fucking amazing. I love cooking, and I've cooked for friends, I've cooked for loved ones, I've cooked for enemies with poison. But I love cooking, and it is so like gratifying when I serve something to someone and they try it and they're like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Yeah. Make me bust. Okay. Anyway, probably not the best like phrase to use at the end of like talking about cooking, but whatever. Well, the cooking's done. I could bust now, right? Don't quote me on that. But anyway, it's always appreciated when people reach out and say that, like, hey, I started listening to your podcast and I enjoy it. It's incredible. Give it a like, share it with someone. If you love it, send it to someone you love. If you hate it, send it to someone you hate. So, whatever. Let's get on to these questions, okay? So there's a few questions on here. There's actually 10 that I'm going to go over. Well, there's not 10. There's 9, but you'll see. So I'm just going to go in order of the way that I got them, okay? Starting with what's your deal? Pretty good. Pretty good question. Pretty good start. Now this might seem to the layman, right? This might seem like a dig, perhaps. A backhanded question, maybe a loaded question, right? What's your deal? Now in a negative scope, you might be thinking like, that seems like an attack. What's your deal? Right? Not me. I'm riding on silver linings, Hey man, what's your deal? I don't know. It sounds kind of weird still. It sounds kind of disingenuous when I say it that way. I was trying to get on like, whatever. It's a pretty good question, and I'm going to answer that question. So my deal, I feel like I answered a lot of it already in the beginning part, in our intro part, into our intro piece to this episode. What's my deal? Man, I'm chilling. I've been a dickhead pretty much my entire life. Well, not my entire, that's not true. Maybe when I was like 15. That's when I started being a dickhead. Maybe a little bit before. I was maybe a little bit of a turd. You can't be a dickhead at like 12. You're just kind of a turd. Little turd Ferguson, But at like 15 is when I started to become an actual little dickhead. And then got older and then was an absolute dickhead. And then I'm now at the age that I'm at now. Still kind of a dickhead. But I try not to be. Not as much anymore. Anyway, like, obviously I fuck up a lot. I try to do better. I try to be better. I try to create. I try to utilize a lot of the things that I have the opportunity to use. So like art, I have guitars, I have basses, I have musical equipment to create stuff. I have stuff to make a podcast. Obviously, I have enough friends to support me to do that. Um, and it's been nice. I try to be better, and it's kind of like one of those things where um, I can't undo the things that I've done, and there's no amount of good that I think I could do necessarily that would. Well, there's no amount of good that I could do that would undo anything I've done that's bad. You know, and does that mean that I can never be good? No, it's just that I try to be better. I try to be good. I try to put good things out. I try to build good relationships with people. Meet new friends. Create things, especially being a creative person. Um, and try to guide people, especially away from any path that was remotely like mine. But overall, that's pretty much my deal as of now. I'm trying to build a life, right? Trying to get a bigger house, right? I got promoted at my job, and now I'm trying to move up already again. By next year, I'm trying to get promoted, and then trying to get I want that like carefree, like I go to work, sure, I work, I do my stuff, or if I have maybe I turn art and music into a career, awesome, whatever it is. My biggest concern though is just quality of life. Like if I could have all the money in the world, money doesn't mean shit to me. And even though it's like, oh, well, money can buy you like that freedom. And it's like, I could have freedom without money, like I could just be rid of all of this and just kind of go and be like a transient. Or I could save, I could work and save money and then go buy enough property to just be off the grid for a long time or for indefinitely, I don't know. But money to me, it doesn't matter. And I just want to at least, it doesn't matter how, but get to a point where I can be comfortable and happy and do stuff with Andy, do stuff with my friends. And, if I get to have a creative outlet through there along that path and can get paid for it, awesome. And if I don't, I don't. But yeah, currently, that is my current deal. So I would counter, what's your deal? Do you thought about that? Where are you at right now? What is your fucking deal? What do you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to pursue? For some of my friends, you're around my age, your 30s, then your 40s, then your 50s. What's the plan? What do you want to do? Day by day? Awesome. You have a 10-year plan? Awesome. Figure it out. Because it's once you have it figured out, you're like, I'm cool with this. I just want to kind of go in day by day and take it as it is. Great. Enjoy it. Enjoy it as best you can. For any people that I know that are in their 20s, barely getting started, what's the plan? Day by day? You have a plan already in the future? Figure it out. What's your deal? What's in your wallet? Okay. Our next question. Do you like boys? What's your favorite part of music creation? Mixing, writing, producing. Yeah, I like boys. Question 3. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna stand up for a second. God, it's hot. We're hitting a fucking heat wave in LA, and it is not very cool. Not very cash money for that to be happening right now. For music creation, I fucking hate mixing and recording and producing. I fucking hate that. It's gay. It sucks. I hate it. It's so boring because it's like, well, I'm not a producer. So let's start there. I don't know how to mix. I don't know how to produce. I can't swim. I can't dance. I don't know karate. And all the shit that I learned for the songs that I've put out so far have have all been like just enough to be able to get by. And that's all I did, was barely scrape by. I would say my least favorite is probably recording, because you can spend easily an hour just getting a part of a guitar down, or vocals, or just a part of a song down. And it could be, this is like a fucking, let's say a 4-minute song. You can spend an hour straight just trying to get a part of a guitar down. So that is a single part of a single instrument of the whole song, right? Assuming this is like the way I make my music, which is usually kind of like a 5-piece band. So there's the vocals, guitars, 2 guitars, a bass, and drums, right? That's not even counting like if I do multiple tracks with like effects and stuff, which can be fun. That part of recording could be fun, where it's like the track's kind of like done. It's like I get like a skeleton of it, which is usually how I do it. Like I'll record kind of like a demo-ish version where I'll get like the guitar and drums so I can get through the song. It's just kind of sloppy, just so it's like a backing track, right? And then I record the layers over that. So when I get like basically like the majority of the song done, some of the songs are transposed from acoustic to electric. So it kind of gives me some freedom to kind of mess with pedals and edit stuff and kind of chop it up or play it differently. So it can be fun in that kind of recording, area, but it's more kind of like writing it, I guess, or kind of jamming on stuff, which is kind of like what I chalk up to like writing. But that's the thing with like recording. Usually you have like a track that you're like, fuck, okay, I need to sit down. Like for instance, I need to sit down today and then record the main part to Beach House. So I had to sit down, try to play the whole song or play a part of the song, and I have to play it right. And it has to also be played, like it has to be recorded correctly and played correctly. It's just a lot of things. Usually it's the actual work you put into it, which is to me is like the most tedious. Like that's where there's no fun, because you're like, there's no like creativity as much, just because like you could kind of riff on stuff, like I said, add some little tracks over it, be like, oh, I'm making like some weird noises with my guitar. We'll record that and layer it. Cool. But for the most part, you have like a piece that you need to get done, and it needs to get done perfectly. And you can make multiple attempts on just that one chunk, like I said, and then you move on to the next chunk or the next instrument. And it's just, it could be a pain in the ass. Mixing is kind of cool because everything's done, and you can kind of get into the nitty gritty, the details of it. You can add effects over it. You can kind of adjust volume, and then you get this like really satisfying feel of like when you get this mix that sounds, okay at first, and you're like, okay, cool, work on it a little more, and then you hear that like one part where like a part of a song hits, and you're like, oh, like I fucking nailed it right now, But above it all, I think just writing in general, writing lyrics, writing riffs, coming up with melodies, conceptualizing songs, the whole like actual creative process is by far my favorite, just because I'm lazy too. And like that's not my realm. Like I taught myself how to write. I mean, how to record and mix and stuff. So it's not in my wheelhouse, I would say. Like I wouldn't be able to. I could do it for someone, but I'd have to show them my work and be like, this is what I'm able to do so far. Like I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'm sure if I understood it better, I'd probably have more of an appreciation for it. But as a like producer and as a musician, I think recording is the fucking worst part, because it's multiple takes. It takes for fucking ever, and it just sucks, and it's gay forever. But writing, being creative, even when you get like a kind of a jam going, or you kind of find something, you're like, fuck yeah, this is kind of cool. And you try to work on, like you have to actually work on it. It gets a little like tough, because then you're like, that part didn't work. And you have to actually put in the work into figuring out the kinks of like the song structure or things like that. it can be a little more like demanding, but it's still really satisfying. It's really fun to kind of jam out stuff, and then you kind of find that like, ooh, that works. That's kind of fun. That's neat, you know. Um, so I do like that. I think my favorite part is like writing, just the creative aspect of it. That's by far my favorite part. And I mean, maybe in time I'll develop some sort of um I don't know, appreciation for it. But as of right now, producing can suck on my teenus. Um so my next question, who's your fave? Okay? Now this is a pretty clear-cut answer. Okay? There is above everyone's fave. That's Chiwiwi. I feel like it's pretty unanimous, and Chiwiwi has been an icon for quite some time. Her Christian name is Mimi, in case you're wondering. But on her collar, when we got her, she had a white collar on, and in all like capital letters, it said Mimi. And then Andy would be petting her, and Andy kind of read her collar upside down and started calling her Wee Wee, because when she read it, it looked like it said Wee Wee. And then we started calling her Wee Wee. And then there was I'm really into like combat sports and stuff. So we were watching a UFC fight, and there's this young Mexican fighter. His name's Raul Rosas Jr. And he had won a fight, like a pretty significant fight. And he had this like signature thing where he said, he like called out some of his homies like back home, and then said, Chiwiwi. And then from there, I started calling her Chiwiwi. And then everyone started calling her Chiwi. And then now we call her Chiwi and Wee Wee and whatever, a bunch of bullshit. So she is, in fact, everyone's fave. And that is pretty undeniable. Okay. So let me check here. Okay. The next question that we have lined up. Dong size. So we have question 4, dong size. Question 5, metal album, when? Question 6, lube or dry? And then question 7, dong size. So you see why now I said there was 10 questions, but there's actually 9. Dong size. This question was asked by 2 separate people, the same exact way. Also, like no question mark, nothing else. Like I'm reading the questions as I got them, right? Exact same way. One was from a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, who is gay. Pretty expected, right? Good on him. The other one was from my bandmate in the Daisies. That was very gay of him, but also very expected of him. He's also like a new friend. Like I joined the Daisies in October. Well, I jammed with the Daisies in October. I was formally inducted into the Rock and Roll Daisies Hall of Fame sometime after that, but still pretty new friends in that sense, where some of my closest friends have, again, like I said, when I was a little younger, I was something of a little dickhead, to the point where basically all of my friends have seen my dickhead and the rest of my dick. So it's, when you have your boys will be boys. Yes. For any girls listening out there, yes, we all compare penis sizes in a circle. We all, obviously not flaccid. We all have to kind of get it going. Then we all hold them side by side. and measure it up and kind of compare and contrast. Yes, we do that pretty much every time we hang out. Um, but he's a new friend, and I'm a new person. I don't just go, you know, getting drunk and flashing my peepus around as much as I used to when I was in my 20s. You catch me in my 20s, I'm sure I'm flinging wiener everywhere. Okay? But now, not so much. Even like I don't even really like before, like even in my 20s when people would come over, I would walk around basically half naked all the time. It's pretty crazy to think back on, but people would come over and be like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Holy God, can you put some clothes on?" You came to my house. This is my apartment. Like I'm not gonna put clothes on. The fuck? They're like, "This is my house." I'm like, whatever. You invited me. They're like, "No, I didn't." Anyway, this bit's going on too long. Um, but yeah, it's before I'd pee. One of my I mean is like one of my favorite. One of my favorite things. I mean, even not up until recently. Like I would say, maybe like I haven't done it in a few years, but I totally forgot about this. One of my favorite things to do to people, especially now it was like living with Noelle. We'd just get fucked up on the weekends. Sometimes people wouldn't come over; it'd just be the two of us, and I'd just still hit Noelle with it. Um, but one of the things I used to do, um, is I would if I was wearing shorts, it was it was a lot easier. But even if I was wearing jeans, what I would do is I'd unzip the front of my jeans and I'd pull my nuts out, just my nuts, right? Nothing vulgar, nothing egregious, just the nuts, and or at least like one nut, pop a nut out, and I'd go up to I could like pop a nut out, and then I'd go like tap someone and be like, I got gum on my pants, and I'd stretch the skin of my nutsack over my jeans until they so I would do that to people when they would come over. And then there was time, even up to like I said, when it was Noelle and I living here at the crack house, there'd be times where we were just like hanging out and we'd just be fucked up. I'd be drunk, and I'd have I might have like my legs kicked up, like I'd be sitting on the couch having my legs kicked up on the table, and then I'd like pull my shorts to like the side and like pop my nuts out. And I'm like, I think I got gum on my shorts. And you look over and be like, cool. Like, like so over it for like over like almost like 15 years of having to be like, what is it? Do you see this? That was an old trick of mine. That was one of my favorites. It was definitely a good one. I also, okay, hold on. I was gonna divulge some information. I'm not going to, but the gum on my pants trick, pretty good. Um, but that was, I didn't really do too many of them. But one of my favorite things to do for sure was, like if I was in shorts or if I was, well, not really when I was in my boxers, because it was kind of like I'm already basically see everything, my fucking little nuggets in there anyway. But like if I'm wearing shorts or something, I'd like sit at the edge of the couch, you know, kind of bent knees, and I pop my nuts out and make eye contact with someone, have them look down, and they look and see my nuts hanging down. It's the funniest thing in the world. Um, so those are some of my favorite ploys to pull on people. But still, my favorite is the gum on my pants trick. I don't do it anymore, but still, still funny to me though. Um, Dong size. I will leave it at this. Um, it is the length of a different part of my body. It is the same exact length as a different part of my body. That's about all the information I'm going to give. Which part of my body? I don't know. You look into it. Okay? You can speculate. It's probably not my leg. That'd probably be problematic, I'd say. Probably pretty obvious, but Um, yeah, some part, maybe my ear. It's unfortunate. You know, could be little fucking crazy chapstick popping around down there. All right, whatever. Next question. Metal album. When? Good question. So I do have uh basically an album ready to go, but it's not a regular like album like the way Apocalypse was. Apocalypse, 10 songs, 8 actual songs because there was an intro and outro thing. But I have a good chunk of songs that are going to be put out soon in an album, but they're all instrumental. They're all very ambient, kind of droney, noise rock kind of thing, like very dreamy kind of stuff. So I'm going to put that out soon. It's not going to be like an album that I put out and then, wait another 2 years for another album to put out. Like I'm going to be I'm working on something new, but I am going to be putting out probably actually this year. I don't have a date yet, but I want to say fall, winter. It's not really a summer bop kind of album. It's definitely a fall, winter kind of vibe. Let me close my curtains real quick. Being goddamn cooked alive in here. More of a fall, winter kind of thing. Like I said, very droney, very ambient. A lot of pretty stuff. A lot of really kind of eerie stuff. Think about it more of like a soundtrack score kind of thing. It's all instrumental, so there's no vocals, nothing like that. And it was just a way to kind of get my creativity flowing again, and kind of, I know this sounds kind of gay, but kind of fall back in love with like my pedals and playing guitar and making noise. I really wish I didn't say that. That was way gayer than I thought. Fuck. Am I going to go back and edit this? Probably not. So I started doing all this stuff to try to like really try to figure out like how each of my pedals sound, how do my guitars sound, what kind of noises can I make with them again. So the whole album is going to be like basically just single takes. Like there's no like real I don't know how to put it, like structure. They're not like the like regular traditional songs. It's literally just like as if you like a video game soundtrack, like backing soundtracks. It's like that. But they're really pretty. They're really cool. They're really interesting, and I mean I love them. And I went into it just kind of thinking I just want to record myself fucking around with all my stuff, and I did that, and I just kind of feels like a waste to kind of have all that recorded and then just do nothing with it. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'll put it out. So it's not going to be like huge thing, but it'll be something cool to listen to, maybe put on the back, maybe something to go to sleep to. But after that, I do intend to start working on the next actual like full length album. Ideally, it'd be kind of fun to have some features on, maybe collaborate with some people. But I do want to have a much heavier sound in that following album compared to Apocalypse. Apocalypse was really, really, really light, really pretty, twinkly, kind of, whatever. And I want to kind of go into more shoegaze, post-hardcore kind of stuff, but nothing too heavy, like not out of my wheelhouse, but get some more heaviness, get some more distortion in there, with some of the still like cultist things behind it. So maybe not a full metal album, but I do also like black metal, and there's a very fine line between black metal and shoegaze, which is probably just blast beats and screaming vocals. That's probably the only difference. So I'll leave that at that. But again, not necessarily a metal album, but definitely heavier and maybe experimental. But also, if you like Kultist, you should also check out the other band that I'm in, the Daisies, who play punk music. I play with them. I play bass. We're also trying to write new songs, write a new album. Dante and Cruz, they wrote the first album. It's fucking awesome. It's why I joined, because I listen to their music and they fucking rip. So anytime people like meet, me after a show, they're like, dude, you guys rip. And I'm like, dude, that's all them. Like, they wrote the songs. I just play them, but I really want to start making music with them more and take it in like a more psychedelic and more heavy direction, which is, I think, for me personally, what I feel like I'd be good at contributing to the Daisies, because they have so many cool parts. They have psychedelic parts. They have really heavy parts, but I feel like I can really push more in those directions for myself. And I think the next album for the Daisies will be really fun, really dynamic. We're already working on some songs and some, just fucking around right now, but some really cool ideas that I think, if they do come to fruition, will create a very interesting album and a big variety of like different sounds. So, I mean, follow it on Instagram, the Daisies, and then Spotify, all that shit. The Daisies with a Z, by the way. Very cool music. And I'm not just saying that because it's the band that I play in, because I didn't write it, again. But I will. I will get writing credit on the next one. I'm going to take a drink, and then we'll move on to the next question, which I'll let you sort of, think about. Lube or dry? Okay, got your answer? This one seems pretty clear cut to me. You're doing something wrong if those are the only options. It doesn't have to be so clear cut, You can use lube. It could be fun, right? Sometimes you want it nice and dry in there. You want some resistance in there. Anyway, moving on to the... I mean, I think it's fine if you're using lube. It's cool. Could be more fun. Make everything all slippery like your couple little dolphins. I think it's more of like a depends on what you're doing kind of thing. If you're two young strapping lads that want to have intercourse with each other's butts, probably some lube would be best. It's Pride Month. I'm in full support of some BFing, So lube is probably the best bet, I would say. I don't think you could go wrong with lube in general, even if someone, doesn't necessarily need it. Or if you're, a couple young lasses, maybe you don't need lube in general. Maybe there's not going to be any penetration. It could still be fun, slipping and sliding around on each other. Lube in general could just, kind of slicks everything out. Kind of cool. I think dry generally is like just not gonna be the best case scenario for anything outside of if you're searing a steak, a pork chop, some chicken, you want that kind of dry. I think I lost the point here, but lube, always cool. Is it always needed? Not particularly. If I had to choose between the two of them, probably say lube. But It's not always needed, you know? If you're a young man and you're with your young lady, maybe you guys don't need it. Maybe she's got a fucking slip and slide ready for you to... Never mind. We're going to move on to the next question before this becomes too vulgar. Maybe her pussy's wet. I don't know. Maybe her pussy's soaking to the brim and you don't need to use lube. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you could spit on it a little bit. Maybe you could take her out once in a while. Maybe you could get him so hot and bothered that his asshole gets wet. I don't know. I just don't know. But lube is always cool. Dry. I mean, if something's dry while you're doing anything, you know, anything sexual, if anything's dry, it's probably not a good time. But dry massage is barely passable, you know? If you get a little bit of lotion on there, it's night and day. Do you know? Get a little spit in the asshole. Kidding me. Dong size. Again, we already went there. Some same length as another part of my body. You figure it out. Get my metrics down. I feel like the next two were from two different people. But I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Favorite Italian sub and how much money to kiss Raymond. Seeing as how Raymond is in fact my favorite Italian sub. How much would it cost to kiss him? How much would it take to kiss him? Usually I don't kiss him. I just lube him up and BF him, you know? If he's being really good, then I'll kiss him. I'll kiss him on the forehead after. I'll kiss him on the small of his back once I'm done with him. I have family that listens to this podcast. Yeah, he's a pretty good sub. He just kind of, he's a good listener. A little rope bunny kind of thing. He's a fighter. He also likes it dry. He does not like it Mike's way with all the other. There's something. There's something so funny about BFing an Italian guy and having to put oil and vinegar and oregano in it before you fuck him. Oh, man, there's got to be something in there about Mike's way and getting butt fucked. Getting butt fucked Mike's way. I'll workshop it. I'm like trying to think about like Italian sub, getting it Mike's way. I don't know. We'll workshop it in the next episode. Holy shit, I got hot and bothered. My favorite Italian sub, I guess I would just like to go back to, this is, it all connects, you know, because having it Mike's way, having Raymond Mike's way, it goes deep, you know, real deep. But I mean, if I go to like a place like that, I like the most Italian shit, like a salami, gabagool kind of thing, you know, cheese, meats, Mike's way, easy money. I feel like though, like if you get like anything that's on like a sub roll like that, there's a lot of options. You get banh mi, You get a po' boy, you know? I just think there's like limits to like what you could do before it becomes something else. It's like pizza. Like what? Like okay, this is gonna be what I think is a very cold take. That like barbecue chicken pizza is not pizza, right? It's just barbecue sauce and chicken and onions on a flatbread. Like that's not pizza. You could slice it up. You could put it on a big dough, slice it up in a pizza like into triangles. That doesn't make it pizza. I don't buy that. And if you do, if you like it, cool. If you call it pizza, you're a fucking idiot. Like I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. If you're like this is my favorite kind of pizza, I don't trust you. I don't trust you, and honestly, I probably don't like you. And if you're hearing this now and be like, "Well, I like barbecue," well, guess what? I don't like you. You could send me a DM right now and tell me that, and I will tell you I don't fucking like you to your dumb fucking little face. I'll FaceTime you, and I'll be like, I don't fucking like you. I don't appreciate. I'll argue with you. I will give you my personal cell number if you don't have it already, and I will argue with you over the phone about how you're fucking wrong and stupid and probably ugly. Banh mi's pretty good. Po' boys, fire, gasoline, you know. Um, but yeah, I just like anytime I go to like Jersey Mike's or Subway, I always get like the most like Italian sandwich. Whatever it is, the most fucking pinch your fingers at the top of the fucking thing. Look at the fucking, oh, you gotta put, that thing. That's my jam. I could definitely get behind an Italian sub. But also to how much to kiss Raymond. Funny you mentioned that. I have a video of me very deeply and passionately in slow motion kissing Raymond. And I have that video. I can upload it. I can put it on YouTube. I can put it on Instagram, wherever. The question now that I put back on you, how much are you willing to pay to see that video of me passionately kissing Raymond? The floor is yours. So, our last question. Would you rather have 100 chicks appear every time you sneeze or 30 raccoons every time you cough? Pretty good. To me, it's a no-brainer, right? But it did make me think for a while, right? Put everything in perspective. Right now, where I live, it feels kind of like the raccoon thing might be a little easier. Got a bunch of cats and raccoons in the area anyway. Let out a cough. A bunch of raccoons, they just scatter into the neighborhood anyway. Whatever. 100 chicks. Man. I don't know where I would have all those young ladies anyway. Like, you know how much is 100 people? That's a lot of people. I'd probably do that though. Probably because I could go every time I play a show, snort some pepper, sneeze a couple times, 2-3 times, have 300 chicks like lined up at our fucking show, probably confused why they're there, admittedly, but you're at a punk show now. That's pretty cool, especially if I sneeze like 3 times out of 300 chicks, like a few, 50 to 100 of them is gonna stick around. They're gonna be like, oh, there's a fucking punk. All right, cool, I'll check it out, see what's up. Not all 300 of them, probably. They're probably gonna try to find their families or their boyfriends or whatever. I don't know what these chicks are gonna do, but probably that. Also, it's probably chicks, like little baby chickens. Probably still pick that. Because then I could just make like a farm, right? I could sneeze. I could control a sneeze too. I feel like I can control a sneeze way easier than I could control a cough. Sometimes I just cough. It happens. There's fucking 30 raccoons in my car. Or what if I'm on the freeway, there's a bunch of them in my car, or they just appear around me and they're just like splattering around. Like, no, I don't want to do that. You know? But like if it's like I sneeze and there's 100 chicks, it's a lot. Like basically I can't sneeze ever. Right? But what if I get a big enough house and I sneeze a couple hundred, or not a couple hundred times, a couple times, and I get a couple hundred chicks, right? Some of those chicks can help raise the little baby chickens, right? Now I have farm hands and I have baby chickens. And I have all these young broads. Hey, I need you working. And they build little huts, or not huts. What are they called? Chicken coops. Little coops for my little chicks. And then once they get big and strong, they start making eggs. Right? Now they're laying eggs. Now I could sell eggs. I could sell chickens. I could kill the chickens, take the meat, sell the meat. Right? I need more chicks. Boom. Another sneeze. Got more farm hands. Half of them are nice young chicks. The other half, little baby chickens. Right? I think it's a win-win. I don't think I have a, well, it's probably a bad spread. If it's like over 2 people, if 2 of them out of the 100 are actual women, it's going to be kind of confusing because they're going to appear. If they don't know what's going on, they're just like, hey, we're here to help. Cool. They're like Sims. Cool. Do my bidding. I'll probably, send them out to go try to rob a bank or something. And then if they die, well, whatever. It happens. Sneeze again. It's like making Sims, But if it's always chicks, like little baby chickens, easy. They're cute and they grow into chickens and I fucking slaughter them all and sell them all their meat. Or I keep them, they lay eggs, I bond with them, attach with them, then I slaughter them and take their meat. Or if they are women, there's 100 women every time I sneeze, then, slaughter them and take their meat. So thank you guys for listening today. This has been the season 2 finale of At All Hours. It means the most for anyone listening, anyone that's listened to an episode again, anyone that's shared an episode. It's always super fun doing this, talking, bullshitting, and the fact that some people actually enjoy this. But like I said, I have a lot of fun ideas and fun guests lined up for season 3. I really want to get that going. And I appreciate all the questions today, the ones that I was able to use. And it was a pretty good run so far. So I would like to keep that going and keep this interaction going with everyone. I like doing these kind of AMAs. It's fun, just kind of bullshitting. So if you enjoyed all of this, please continue listening. Please share it with someone. And that's it. So bye.